everybody, welcome back to Dakota Does Dressage. We're looking at another exercise from my 101 Western Dressage Exercises book, and this one is really working on softness primarily with the horse, but let me tell you, there were a lot of things about this exercise that challenged me as a rider, which is really what I'm looking for in the exercises and all the things I'm trying to do with Dakota. Yes, I want to improve him, but I can only improve him if I improve myself along the way. And this was certainly an exercise that met that criteria. So what we have here is serpentining with poles. Now, I've done serpentine patterns out in the arena without any equipment out there, and these are like really large serpentines, really big loops through the arena. And I've also done some serpentines just around cones that I have set up, but I've never tried it with poles, and it was a bit of a different experience. The purpose of this exercise is not only to encourage softness of the horse, but what it does, because of the poles, the length of the poles, the way you have them set up in the arena as opposed to like a cone, is I found that it really challenged my overall communication with Dakota as I was aiming to be more precise and more symmetrical in my loops and trying to get right in the middle between the poles on the ground, and also to stay consistent in our rhythm and just bringing it all together to make one beautiful and flowing picture as we do this pattern. So we start off by trotting over the set of poles. You know, really lift his front end. And then this is when I start to make my loop to actually begin my serpentines. I am doing this at the sitting trot, and we had a good warm-up at posting trot before I started sitting it. I know he's dragging his back feet. I'm not worried about that right now. That's not what I'm working on. Here I really collapse my hip, but this is our first loop, and I'm thinking, stay straight, keep myself upright. And I feel like I did better on that one. So yeah, for our first pass, not too bad. We were able to complete it. And then we come back around again. So on this one, I kind of made my loop a little too big, and here I'm afraid I'm gonna hit the camera, and I'm really kicking it with my outside leg to get him to turn to make it between the poles, and we're not really centered between the poles, and same on that loop too. So you start off wrong, it's really hard to fix. It kind of throws off your whole pattern. So that first loop is really important to get right from the get-go. What I really like about this exercise is it is simple. It's just 4 ground poles you set up in the arena. The book suggests putting them like 2 strides apart. I've got way more space than that. I think obviously the more space you give yourself, the easier it is, and then you can set those poles closer together as this maybe becomes a little too easy and you want to increase the rigor of the exercise. But I think we had like, what, 3 or 4 strides between the poles. So it's a simple setup, but it is challenging. I'm noticing here that his rhythm has changed a little bit. He seems a bit more deliberate in where he is setting his legs and his tempo. It's not just trotting for the sake of trotting because I've asked him to go faster. It's looked anyway like he was really thinking about where his legs were going. And that's another benefit to using poles. And he's a horse that knocks poles. He's not that concerned about them. But then I think kind of by the end of the ride, after Hugh passes over them, he gets the idea that he's not really supposed to knock the poles, and he gets more concerned with his foot placement. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. It's an exercise that I think even if you don't have access to ground poles, you could find almost anything to put out there in the arena to set up as some kind of straight barrier. Like even if I didn't have ground poles, I could just drag my heel in the footing and make it look like I've got 4 straight lines out there where my poles would be, and I could still serpentine around those and achieve basically the same results from the exercise. So really simple one. This one I'm definitely going to use again. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.